Okay, and we are live. Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to my live stream today. I apologize in advance for my voice. As you can hear, I woke up with a cold today, and I'm not feeling my best. My energy is fine, but my voice is a little bit raggedy. So I apologize for that. But I'm happy to see you here. As you guys think of questions, please just put them in the chat. My team is going to be tracking them for me, and I'll answer them at the end. But what I'm doing here today is I'm going live on multiple platforms to let everybody know about our May sale and to let people watch me work with a student. I work with students in the Academy once a month. And this student that I'll be working with today is from Armenia. And through this, you can kind of see how we like to work with students, what we think matters when it comes to accent reduction, what we think helps. And you can ask any questions that you have about what you might find inside the Academy, the lessons and this kind of thing. Right now during the webinar, there is an extra coupon code, as you can see up at the top of the video. It's live 10. But yeah, I love working with my students. I have a great time with them and they teach me so much. So today in the Rachel's English Academy classroom, we have 23 students. And then on the internet, we have who knows how many more. I can't see right now, but I'm glad to have you all here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to bring in Emma. So Emma, you can unmute yourself or I can request you to unmute and turn on your camera. Okay, let's turn on your camera, Emma. There we go.
Okay.
Hi,
Rachel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. You've been in the Academy since August, is that right?
Yeah.
So what made you decide to sign up back in August?
I would like to express my gratitude to you, Rachel, and your team, because it's obvious that special method is applied to these courses and every detail is well thought out. In such a short time period, I learned things I didn't know before. I learned about pitch, intonation, sliding, gliding qualities, low placement, connected speech, content and function words, and all through singing.
Yeah, you're welcome. You sound great. And I went back and I listened to some of your earliest posts and then to some of your most recent posts. And I thought, oh, her vowels have definitely improved and gotten just more American and more clear.
Yeah, thanks.
So when you signed up, what do you use English for? Why did you feel like you needed to improve your pronunciation and your speaking ability?
Body learning attracts me a lot. When I speak, I to know the rules. For example, why city? Why flap T? Because it's like inside those rules I would like to know. And also, I have planned to change my work and to be part of international teams. So I would like to improve also my English.
And have you found that? I mean, I know that your pronunciation is improving. Is there anything else that's improved from part of the work? I mean, sometimes it's just more exposure gets you more vocabulary and this kind of thing. But has it impacted you in other ways as well?
Yeah, of course. Vocabulary, I also improved my vocabulary. I just should work on sliding, gliding qualities, I think, because my language isn't stressed, it's syllable. So I think,
Yes. Okay, so for everybody out there who doesn't know, what Emma is referring to is the characteristic of the language being stress-timed or syllable-timed. So her native language is syllable-timed, which means every syllable is pretty much more or less the same length. In American English, it's totally different. We have long and short, and that is so important for understandability, to really nail how a long syllable should feel and also how a short syllable should feel. And as you noted, linking and sliding and gliding are very related to how those two kinds of syllables work together. All right, well, Emma, let's just jump right in. I'd love to have you just I'll write down something that I want to work on as you go, but why don't you just tell me a little bit about your day or anything that you want to about yourself, just something to get you speaking.
Yeah. I'm a full stack developer and work at Career Space Company, an advanced transportation management system designed for expedited air and ground shipping. I use English every day through reading.
Okay. I wrote down a couple things. I like your rhythmic contrast. I actually think that your stressed syllables can have a little bit more clarity in them with even a little bit more length and a little bit more up down shape. Like when you said full stack developer, excuse me, stack sounded like stuck. It was a little bit flat. That's harder for me to understand what that is. I want to hear stack with that up down shape. That helps me hear stack. Yes. So let me just hear you say stack.
Stack.
Exactly. So, I mean, most people listening might be like, well, what was that even? But it's just this shape fast. And it's so different than stack, stack, stack. The length is the same, but just changing your pitch like that, it just makes it so much clearer to me what that word is. So let's put it into the whole phrase, which is a little bit tricky. Well, first of all, let's just take the first two words of the phrase that I want to use. Let me open up chat so that everyone in the Rachel's English Academy Zoom classroom can see the phrase we're talking about. Okay, so this is the phrase. This is what you are, a full stack developer. Of course, we don't want to say it choppy like that. But let me hear you say the first two words.
Full stack.
Exactly. And they're both stressed, full stack. And they both have that up-down shape of stress. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Let me hear the last word in that phrase.
Developer.
Yes. Now, instead of D at the beginning, let's make it developer.
Developer.
Exactly. So that developer is going to sound a little bit accented because it's not using the schwa, and we use the schwa so much. When you switched it to developer, it sounded pretty much native. Let me hear you say it again.
Developer.
Exactly. So your rhythm is very good. Your vel, it had that clear up-down shape of stress. Your unstressed syllables didn't feel separate. They were all part of that same phrase. Your ending R was very good. Now let's, for a challenge, let's have you say the whole name of your job. I've just met you, and I'm like, oh, what do you do for work? And you want to say I'm and then say these three words.
Okay. I'm a full stack developer.
Pretty good. Full stack developer. We want full stack. I mean, all of these words can be stressed. Full stack developer.
Okay. Full stack developer.
Yes, exactly. Except I liked everything, but you did say developer. And that is going to sound a little bit like an accent. Not in a way that's in any way hard to understand. But if your goal is to sound native, let's change that to developer.
Developer. Full stack developer.
Yes, there we go. Now, what happens if you throw on I'm a in front of that?
I am a full stack developer.
Mm-hmm. That was good. Now, what's going to make it even more conversational instead of I am a is to say I'm a.
Okay. No, not stressed.
Yeah.
I'm a.
Actually, it's not I am a. It's just I'm a.
Okay. I'm a full stack developer.
Yes, exactly. So now we're hearing there's a big difference between I'm a and full and stack, right? You did a great job of making that contrast. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a full stack developer. I did read your bio and I was like, wow, the little bio that you put on the community in Rachel's English Academy. I was like, oh wow, it's an awesome job. I guess I just want to say that. I studied computer science in college, but obviously I didn't end up pursuing it after college, but I think you're cool is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Let's see. I wrote down something else. Yeah, it was just like with full stack. It was just a matter of needing a little bit more length or the up down for the stressed syllable to really get it. So you said this phrase, and I'll say it for everyone who's out there. The phrase that she said was ground shipping. And when she said it, ground was sort of ground. And when it's flat like that, it's hard for me to understand it. So I want the melody to go ground, 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 if we were going to slow it down. So let me hear you say, well, let's just do it a little bit slower. I know that you know how to do this quickly, but just for everyone who's watching, what does it actually sound and feel like when we slow it down? So you tell me the stressed syllable ground. Let's hear it.
Ground.
Exactly. And for everyone out there, there's often more variation than people think we need. Some people will give me a little bit of variation, ground. As that's not quite good enough to be fully understood. Ground, when we have more of that pitch variation, then it's like, yes, I get it. It's effortless for me to understand that. So let me hear you say the whole phrase now, ground shipping, but linked together. And both ground and ship are going to have that up-down shape of stress.
Ground shipping.
And now do it, let's speed it up a little bit to where it gets more to a regular conversational pace.
Ground shipping.
A little faster.
Ground shipping.
Ground shipping.
Ground shipping.
Yes. And we don't really say the D there. You guys might notice it kind of gets dropped between the N and the SH. That doesn't matter for understandability. If the other sounds are correct and the shape is correct, then I really get it. Okay, so tell me, so now I know what you do for work. Tell me about what you like to do not for work. What's something that you like to do in your spare time?
I like reading books and go to the theater.
Okay, let's take that. I like reading books. I'm going to type it out.
Books, yes.
Yes, the vowel. Let me just hear you say it again without me saying anything.
Okay. I like reading books.
Okay, good. I like reading. I wonder if reading, can we make the second syllable of that unstressed syllable, even lower? Reading is how you're doing it. Reading. But I went reading. I want the pitch to come further down for that unstressed syllable. That's going to give us more of that contrast that makes it clear for us. So first, let's just play it, say it. I'm going to do it with a higher pitch at the end, like I don't really want, and then eventually I'll bring it down. So for everybody watching, the play it, say it is something that we make a lot of use of in the Academy. And it's just about listening and repeating without having to think about what's different, just matching sounds. And you have to do it many times in a row for your ears to start to do the work. Okay, so let me think. I'm going to try to make sure that I'm ending it too high. Reading.
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 Reading books.
Reading books.
Reading books.
Reading books.
Yes, I liked your vowel on books the second time. The first time it was a little bit books, not all the way, but then it opened up. Okay, so where we're putting that in, we feel that up-down shape of stress on re and on books, and that unstressed syllable is just almost nothing down low. Reading books.
Reading books.
Exactly, and that's what makes it clear and easy to understand. It's so much more easier than reading books. That's too... Okay, so you like reading books, and I think you also said going to the theater.
Yeah.
When is the last time you went to the theater?
3 months ago.
Okay.
With my daughter.
With your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay, let's type that out. 3 months ago with my daughter. Something about the word daughter was not very clear to me. I think it might have been the flap T. Also, the ending was kind of long. Let's just play it, say it with that word, like 10 times at least. Daughter.
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 Okay, here's two things that have changed since the beginning. Your ah vowel in the stress syllable got better.
Yeah.
Your flap T got cleaner, crisper, shorter, more simple. I still think your ending is a little long. Let me tell you what I'm hearing. Daughter. And let me tell you what I want to hear. Daughter. So it's a subtle difference. It's versus . Let's just try the ending and just try to make it as short as you possibly can with still making sound. Even
Okay.
shorter. Even shorter.
Okay.
Exactly. It's just the quickest ER. It's like you want to stop almost as soon as you've started. Yeah, and it just tapers, right? Because the daw is our up-down shape of stress. This very fast just comes on as we come down. So our volume is coming down, our energy is coming down. Daughter.
Daughter.
Is still too long. Let's play it, say it again.
I noticed.
You notice. All right, that's great.
Yeah.
And everybody, that's another thing we teach in the academy is you learn how to hear these things in yourself so you can start also coaching yourself without needing feedback from someone like me. Okay, daughter.
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 Good. Again, your ah vowel, I felt like it got more accurate as you went along. I mean, it was good the whole time, but it got even more native sounding. Okay, so now we're gonna put two words with that because we're almost never just saying one word. So the end of your phrase was with my daughter. Now both with and my will be unstressed. So they're just leading up to da. So with my is going to sound like this. With my.
Okay.
Let me hear you
With
say.
my.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do it even. That's nice and quiet. And the pitch is nice and low. Let's make it even faster. With my.
With my.
With my.
With my.
Now, to me, that's a little too loud. There's a little too much energy in it. With my. With the unstressed, we want to take out the work. So your lips probably won't move as much. It might not feel quite as clear. That's okay. Again, that's part of the contrast in our different kinds of syllables. So let's just see what happens if you lower the pitch and the volume. With my.
With my.
Yes, that volume was great, but it was a little bit too long. With my.
Yeah. Okay. With my.
Great.
With my.
Yes. Your volume was great the second time you made it half as fast, which was perfect. With my.
With my.
With my.
With my.
That is it. So now we're going to throw in just daw. We're not going to throw in the whole word. So we're going to be going with my daw.
With my da.
Yeah, with my daw.
With my da.
Yes, and I want you to make sure your pitch is starting to come back down. I think you are, but the coming back down is very important. Daw, with my daw.
With my da.
Yes, and now the dur just happens dur at the very end. With my daughter.
Dur. Dur. With my daughter.
Again, with my daughter.
With my daughter.
Good. Your is still a little too long for me, but we don't need to keep pressing that now. Actually, in the academy, if you go to the courses tab, in the consonants course, we have a whole soundboard where it's just like this, an unstressed ER ending. So you can really work on just making that so short over and over with all those. So let me see. What was that whole phrase? Oh, yeah. Well, you went 3 months ago. And like 3 and months are two of the hardest words to say in American English because they've got that TH. With the word months, does everyone know that we usually say months? We don't make a TS, a THS. Forget the TH in months when it's plural. Just say months. MUNTS is what you can think of. Let me hear you say months.
Months.
Yes. And
Months.
now 3 months.
3 months.
Yes. So here's what I love about that. It's fast, so the pacing is perfect. It's long enough that I know it's stressed. But what I'm really hearing that helps me feel it stressed is the up-down shape of stress. 3. It's not 3, 3, 3. 3 months. 3 months. And boom, my body just gets it, hears it, immediately understands what you're saying. So are you ready for a really big challenge now?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do the whole sentence. Actually, no, we haven't worked on a go yet. Let's do a go. So the phrase is 3 months ago. So now, rather than 3 months, it's really just 3 months ago. We're changing that rhythm now that we have more words to just have the one up-down shape of stress. 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
Good. 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
And now we're going to go 3 months ago with my daughter. So we have 2 up-down shape of stress. Everything else is low, chill, quiet, smooth. Let me hear you say the whole phrase.
3 months ago with my daughter.
Okay, that was very good. I mean, you stopped before daughter, but 3 months ago with my was like, wow, there's a lot going on there, and you really nailed all of it. Let me just hear that part again. 3 months ago with my.
3 months ago with my daughter.
Your daughter was a little bit daughter. We need the
Daughter.
Right, daughter. 3 months ago with my daughter. Why don't you move your arm? 3 months ago with my daughter.
Okay. 3 months ago with my daughter.
Yes, good. I do want to see that if you're moving your arm, have it go up on the stress, a little daw as well. But it was very smooth and connected. That's really, really great. That's what we want to hear. And that really, it really captures the feeling of American English and what we're used to hearing in a way that makes it easy for us to understand you. So for everyone who's tuning in on YouTube or Facebook, the thing that's confusing about American English is you're easier to understand when you speak with contrast, even though contrast itself means that some words have to be less clear. That feels wrong. Well, if I'm going to take the words ago with my, and I'm going to say ago with my, and I'm going to make them unclear, how does that make the whole phrase clear? But it does, because for us, it's that change between the clear up-down shape of stress and the less clear syllables that make it easy for us to understand. So it's something that can be tricky to keep in mind, but of course in the Academy, it's all we talk about because we want you to just be constantly training the rhythm of American English, because that really is what makes you easy to understand more so than perfect sounds. Okay, so Emma, let's just do one more sentence, or I also want to give you the chance to ask any questions or if there are any words that you find particularly difficult. Before we end, I don't want to cut you off without having that chance to ask anything. Do you have any questions about anything?
Up to you. I just would like to know.
Yeah.
For example, at 9. Is it okay?
You're saying.
Something is stopping here, but not really. Yes.
Yeah. You're saying the phrase at night. Is that correct?
9.
All right.
9. But night. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Oh, what did you say?
At 9.
Oh, at 9. Yeah. Okay. Which,
It's
of course,
okay,
is one
at
of the
9,
phrases
or
from
9.
the Academy. All right, we'll do at 9.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, that's a really good question. So at 9, the T in at, which of course sounds nothing like at in this phrase, is a stop T. How should that feel in your body? So we do stop the air in the throat, but it's not a heavy clenching. It's just like a doop, 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 just a quick little cutting off and then immediately releasing. Let's just pulse the at reduction. Now, to me, I feel a little bit too much effort in there. So why don't we try this? Let's think about, forget the throat. Your tongue does move into position for the T. When you do this, we go, and we lift the tongue. Right. So
Okay.
now your jaw shouldn't drop that much. I'm just doing that to demonstrate. But so you can think of that as cutting off the sound. That way you don't need to be thinking of doing anything with your throat. It might help your throat to think, I'm not doing it. It's happening up here. So let's try that. That sounds a little bit better. I'm feeling less of the part of it, which I don't want in there.
Okay. Okay, I understand.
Now let's try the phrase, hey, when is the show start? And of course we know it starts at 9. So let's just try at 9.
At 9.
Yes. So that felt very relaxed. That flap T felt like there was no work happening in it. It sounded clean and clear, and your at was very short. How did that feel for you?
Maybe a bit T, I feel, or it's okay.
Like you felt like a little bit of that happened?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I didn't hear that, but let's do a couple more. Now we're going to change it from at 9 to at 5. At 5.
At 5.
Okay, I see what you mean. There was a little bit of
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So the way to prevent that from happening is the the F has to happen before you bring your tongue down. 5. So I would practice it that way a little bit. You say at, you lift the T, which stops it. But then you focus on the next consonant sound, not releasing the tongue down because that will make an extra sound. 5. 9. So exaggerating the stop, making it longer so that you can focus on just the next sound without changing the tongue before the next sound. Let me hear you say 5 with a long break.
At 5.
Do it again.
At 5.
That's it.
At 5.
Yes. So now I don't
Okay.
hear the extra thing happening. And you know
Yeah.
what? Don't even rush that. Just do it that way for a while, in that soundboard. I think we have a set 1 and a set 2. I think there are 20 phrases or 24 where it's just like this. At 5, at 9, at school, at home, at work. Take those and do it with an exaggerated break. Do it with that's okay. Do it with an exaggerated break at home. So you can really think about, I stopped the air and I'm not releasing anything. It work. And do it that way, making the break longer. And then slowly reduce the break down. And then get it to the point where hopefully it's just at home. And you're able to go without trying to release anything after.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you want to try
I will
one?
do it. Yeah, of course.
Okay, let's try. We're going to do the phrase at home. At home.
At home.
H is a little bit tricky because you almost do hear a little T there. Let's do at 7. Well, no. Let me change that.
7.
I'm going to change that. I want to do at 6. It's 6.
At 6.
Yes. I did not hear any kind of T there. I do think your at vowel can be more at 6.
At 6. Yeah.
Let me make sure your lips are totally relaxed. Yeah. It's 6.
Okay, my exercises I should do. I know Tom mentioned about exercises.
Okay. To release the
Video I
tension.
watched.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's 6.
a 6.
Yes. Good. Your I vowel in 6 could be a little bit more relaxed, but don't worry. We have a whole bunch of content coming to Essentials exactly about that vowel. I think it's actually probably there now already. Okay, yes, that was really good question about the stop T, especially since it's at the very beginning of Essentials, and that's where I want all my new students to start. I really want them to feel like they understand that. It's all about taking the word at and just bringing it back to almost nothing. But you sound great, Emma, and I know that you do use the group, the community, you do post there and get your feedback. So keep that up. That's the best way to know that you're on the right track.
Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, goodbye. Okay, I'm going to put Emma back into the classroom part of my Zoom room so she doesn't need to worry about accidentally popping online again. Okay. All right, everybody, thank you for being here. I'm going to start answering questions. I did see that my student Sam signed up yesterday. Sam, who is a student from so long ago, and he was in this live stream. I don't know if he's still there, but hi, Sam. Good to see you back. Okay, let me answer some of the questions. Okay, someone says, do you drop the D in the word fundraiser? Yeah, you totally can. Just like, what was I doing with Emma? There was something else where we were dropping the D. I'd have to look at my chat to remember what that was. I can't remember now. But yes, fundraiser. Very natural and normal there to drop the D. So it's pretty common to drop the D and the T after an N before another consonant. So in the word fundraiser, the D comes after the N of fund. The next sound is an R, fundraiser. Very typical to drop that D. So it becomes fundraiser, linked together smoothly, fundraiser. And it's great that you noticed that. You must have heard that, which is what made you ask about it. So that is perfect. Amy Young, who just signed up yesterday and is a new student, asked about don't know when we say dunno. I don't know. So you might even see it spelled sometimes D-U-N-N-O. And it's really common to say, I don't know. Dunno. Dunno. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So you can just think of it as a quick D sound and then the word no. We do want lip rounding for that. That's going to have an up-down shape of stress. No. So don't can get shortened all the way to duh. But no still needs the up-down shape of stress and the full diphthong. Hey, Rachel, what time is it? I don't know. I don't know. Also, Amy, the academy has a course in there called Student Requests. So if there's ever anything that you want recorded that you don't see somewhere else in the soundboards, you can put in a request there. Like you could say, could somebody record, I don't know. And then we can have it recorded, and then you can train with it with the soundboard, regular pace, slow motion, to make sure you're hearing it and repeating it back the way you want to. Okay, next question. Someone says, it's a little confusing when you say that I have to relax my mouth with the vowel, like in butter, bun, must, but I also get feedback saying I need to open my mouth a lot more. I guess for some vowels I should open more, but for others keep it relaxed. Well, that's a good question. Can you be relaxed with jaw drop? If I'm going to try to make the sound like in bun, but I don't drop my teeth, the vowel might be right, but it's sort of held back, which gives it a different kind of feel. But you don't have to drop your jaw with tension. We don't want that. This is a very relaxed jaw drop. But there is some drop. It's not very far. Definitely there are some sounds, some vowels and diphthongs in American English where we need that kind of jaw drop. But for the vowel, like in bun, it only needs to be like, what is that, half a centimeter? It's like as wide as my pinky, maybe. But if I don't do that, the sound gets trapped. It doesn't really come out. Do you hear how that quality is different? The only thing I'm changing is my jaw drop. I'm not changing the pitch at all. I'm not changing my tongue position at all. So while we want there to be a lot of relaxation, that doesn't mean no jaw drop. That can mean some relaxed jaw drop, and it does mean that for that vowel. And I'm glad that you're thinking about this, because that vowel is so key to the overall feeling of sounding really natural, that if you can really nail it, it's going to help with everything else. Okay, let me go to a few other questions. Okay, someone's saying, I have an immigration appointment in 1 month. What course do you think I should focus on? That's a tough question. 1 month isn't a lot of time to make a massive change, but I would say if you have the time, I would go to Essentials, which is 25 minutes or so a day, but I would also, after you do the Essentials for 25 minutes, I would go to the Conversations courses. I would say let's either do the real Conversations or the Hollywood Conversations where they're taken from movies, but go to those two courses and do one of those also. Watch the analysis video, work with the soundboard. Work at the soundboard again 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, all along while also moving through Essentials. I think that might be the way to get the most exposure to what really matters prior to that conversation that you'll be having at your appointment. Okay. I have a little bit of voice left, not much. I am going live again at 4. But let's just answer a few other questions. Someone says, are you teaching basics today? That was Gulzar Hussein. You know, the accent is different than the language. And it's different than a lot of things that we learn with our mind that might be linear, that might have a beginning that we build on. In that regard, beginning and advanced is very obvious. Basics and advanced is very obvious. With pronunciation, I found that there are some core principles, some essentials that matter to everybody. And they're not really basic, but they're the core fundamentals. And without that being really solid, it doesn't really matter what your level is. It all needs to be built on something that is the essence of the accent, the rhythm of it, the music of it. I wouldn't say that that's basic. I would say that that is of primary importance. And then other things get less important. Like, I have a lot of content in the Academy where we go over the subtleties of different suffixes. To me, that's very detail-oriented. That's less important than the core idea of rhythm and stress. But I would not call that basic. I would call it of primary importance. Okay, I'm going to answer one more before I lose my voice. Oh my gosh. You guys, I've hardly even said since the very beginning that the whole reason why we're going live is to promote the May sale. So if you like what you see here, you're interested in Essentials, you want to know, well, what could that be like for me? Then please go to rachelsenglishacademy.com. And with the code LIVE10, which will be live during the webinar, you can get another 10% off. So that the webinar is going to end in a minute or two, so go there now and get that extra coupon code in there. Okay, I'm going to answer one more question. Murat says, Murat is from Kazakhstan, Can you tell me about how crucial it is to speak English without pauses? So to me, pauses are not really the issue. Native speakers use pauses all the time when we're thinking, or to add clarity, or to add emphasis. The thing that matters more is not to have choppy speech, each word separate from the other. Many students of mine come in with English like that. So to me, that's different. That's choppy English, which is different than English with pauses. Pauses are a part of speech. Choppiness between each word and a feeling of separation between each syllable does make English harder to understand and is not what we want. And we focus a lot on this in the Academy. We call it linking, how sounds and words and syllables flow together. And that's something that I worked on with Emma here today, without being chopped up or cut off or separate from one another. So pauses while speaking, not a problem. I just did it. Choppiness while speaking, harder to understand. That's less good. That is something I would have a student work on. Okay, guys, that's it. I'll be live again in about 3.5 hours with another student from another native language background. But it was great to have you guys here. Please consider signing up for the Academy. We love what we do, and we really help students master the spoken English to the level that they want. We are so proud that we've been able to find a method that really works for students and put it into a course that's very useful. You don't need a ton of teacher feedback when you have the right materials and the right method, and you learn yourself how to hear your own mistakes. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much. Check it out, rachelsenglishacademy.com. Now is the time. Bye, everybody.